To crochet, there's very little supplies that you need to get started. You will need a crochet hook, and this is just a basic metal hook. You'll see that it has a letter on it and a number, and that indicates the size, and you usually want to just stick to that number because the letters can change depending on if your pattern or your hook is from the UK. The other thing you'll need is some yarn. You can see I have two different types of yarn here. This is a sweater weight. It's a thicker, heavier yarn, and then it'll use a bigger hook. And then this is a fingering weight, which is smaller, and it would use a smaller hook. So your hook size matters for your pattern and your yarn. This is an example of the fingering weight on a cowl. Over here are some hooks that have padding to them, and this is actually what I like to use. Some people also use bamboo hooks, other things like that. You'll also need some stitch markers, and these are used when you're going down a row and you want to indicate the end of your row so that as you're coming back and forth you know where to end. Or you can also use it to mark your place when you have a work in progress, because your crochet hook's not going to stick in place if you move your piece around. And you'll need a yarn needle or a darning needle, and that will allow you to weave the tail ends of your yarn into your piece. So a few notes about yarn. This has a center pull, so it's already set to go, and you can just pull the yarn out from the center and use that to start crocheting. But this other yarn, the red yarn that you see here, this is often how you'll get it from a specialty store. And this is not ready to be used. So you'll either ask them to wind it onto a yarn winder for you. They probably have it at the specialty store. Or you can wrap it around a toilet paper roll and then be able to use that, because you need it to pull from either the outside or the center, but in this format it won't be usable. Now the first step in crochet is to make a slip knot. So you just hold the yarn through your back fingers and put it over your index finger once, and then wrap it again twice, hold it in place, and then that first loop you wrapped, pull it over the second loop, and then pull that second loop again over the first loop, and then lastly pull that last part of the loop and pull it all the way off your finger. And now you have a slip knot. And it's called a slip knot because you can push it and slip it along the yarn, and that allows you to tighten it onto your crochet hook. So if you bring your crochet hook over, slide that through, and then you can just tighten the knot against the base of the crochet hook, and you're ready to go. So to see what a basic chain stitch looks like in crochet, I wrap the yarn around my pinky because I think it gives me more stability, and then I put it over my index finger just like this. It lets me hold the yarn tension the best, I find. Then I take my hook, you yarn over where you wrap it underneath, and then you pull that piece of yarn through your loop. See that again? Yarn over, pull through the loop. And you'll notice I'm moving my thumb as I go along to hold my piece in place so that that yarn tension stays consistent, and I can move the hook through the holes in the various loops. When your chain is as long as you want it to be, then you'll just pull the yarn through your one last time. You'll cut the yarn. Be sure to leave a little bit of a tail so you can weave that through. And then you'll just pull that all the way through and pull tight to give it a little knot. Now that knot will not necessarily stay in place just like that. You wouldn't want to clip it here. What you end up doing is you use your yarn needle and you weave that tail throughout the piece. Now once you have a foundation stitch, this is just a chain stitch, but you'll want to turn back around and you're going to go back through your first loop, yarn over, pull it through, and then if you pull it back through your beginning loop, you've now made a slip stitch. And a slip stitch often just holds your place so that you can turn or start moving a different direction. Again, what that looks like, you just go through your loop, you yarn over, pull it through, and pull it all the way through. You wouldn't really make a piece just using slip stitches though. What you end up doing are crochet or single crochet. So to do a crochet, you'll go through your loop, yarn over, pull through, and now you can see I have 2 loops that are on my hook. I'll yarn over again and then pull through both of the loops. That's a single crochet. And it's going to be easier to see if I have a bigger piece. So I'm going to switch to a more solid piece so that you can see these crochet stitches. Okay, so I wrap it around my pinky. I come back over and place it over my index finger again. That helps me hold the yarn in place and keep the tension. I have the hook in my right hand because I'm right-handed, and I'm ready to go. So the way you do it is you're not going to go through where your yarn is already attached, so you go through the next loop, yarn over, pull it through those 2 upper loops. Now I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over again, pull through both of the loops. That's a single crochet. To see that again, you're going through those top loops, yarn over, pull through those. Now you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through both, pull through both of them. And sometimes you get stuck and you just have to wiggle it around. And that is a single crochet. The next longest stitch is a half double crochet. So you yarn over before you go through those top loops, go through your top loops, yarn over again. Now you have 3 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 and lastly the third. So you're pulling through all 3. Double crochet is the next longest, so you do a yarn over, you go through your loops, yarn over and pull through. I still have 3 loops on my hook like I did in half double crochet, but I'm going to yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, then I have 2 loops now, I'm going to yarn over again and pull through those last 2 loops. That gives us extra yarn, extra bulk, and it makes it a larger stitch. See that again, yarn over, go through, pull, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through those last 2. The last type is a triple or treble crochet, and to do that you yarn over twice before you go through, yarn over on the other side. Now you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, go through the final 2 loops, and that's a triple or treble crochet. And you can see how the single crochet is smaller and then it climbs up single, single, then you get into a half double crochet, a double crochet, and then the treble crochet. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you've seen how easy it is to crochet and how fun it can be to crochet.